We're in some very strange territory here, and it's not very clear. One of the problems with the Yoga Vasistha is that it's a highly spiritual teaching about the nature of reality, and yet it exists in a very particular cultural context, and it actually undermines that cultural context considerably. And it's almost like at times it loses its nerve and it feels it has to validate some of that cultural context based on the spiritual teaching. So that confuses things somewhat. Now, I'll come back to that point. I think this is definitely a strand of the Yoga Vasistha which we need to be aware of and be wary of. Now, we're in this very strange territory of what I describe, I think what we'd understand in the West as astral projection. We've got Queen Lila travelling the universe in her ethereal body. We've got another version of Lila who's the wife of her husband's future incarnation, who's also in her ethereal body. And this second Lila doesn't seem to realise she's in her ethereal body. She thinks she's in her physical body. And we're told that the ethereal body is actually more real than the physical body. But then, how real is the physical body? You know, according to the teaching of the Yoga Vasistha, the body is only a notion. And now we're being told that the ethereal body is actually more real than the physical body. You know, surely the ethereal body is also a notion. So it seems like at certain teachings there's an attempt to accommodate a certain teaching here, which, if we get down to the heart of the Yoga Vasistha, it doesn't really apply. So I think the Yoga Vasistha has actually moved away from its central theme, which it does now and again, and this is the nature of things. We're not always in focus. Some of these videos that I've been doing, I've been more on the ball than at other times. The Yoga Vasistha is like this as well. Sometimes it's not on the ball. It's more concerned with trying to reconcile certain notions with the fact that they are only notions. So I think we should take all this stuff about travelling in the ethereal body with a pinch of salt. There may be some truth in it. It's quite a fascinating topic. You know, the whole notion of astral projection is quite exciting, really, isn't it? And perhaps some people are more interested in that than in the fundamental teaching that life is essentially of the same nature as a dream. Saraswati said, "Only one who has arrived at wisdom can ascend to the ethereal realms, O Lila, not others. This Lila did not possess such wisdom, hence she only fancied that she'd reached the city where her husband dwelt." So I think there's a distinction being made here. This second Lila, she only fancied that she'd gone to the ethereal realms. She thought she'd gone in her physical body, but she hadn't. So Saraswati is saying that it actually seems to be possible to go to the ethereal realms in your physical body. Well, they are all notions, and the physical body is a notion. The dream body, when you're dreaming, you think your dream body is your real body. I don't think we should spend time dwelling on this. Except I do think it is possible to consciously explore what we might call the imaginal side of things on a more conscious level. There are many people that have done this. One person that comes to mind is Emmanuel Swedenborg. He was an 18th century Swedish scientist, and in his 50s he started exploring the soul firsthand. And he had this facility for travelling to heaven and to hell and to converse with angels, and he wrote massive tomes about his journeys. It's quite fascinating, and it was clearly very real for him. But I think we'd say that perhaps it was all projections of his own mind, which would be correct. Everything is a projection of our own mind, though. The enlightened Lila said, "Let that be as you say, O goddess, but please tell me, how did the objects acquire their characteristics, like heat in fire, coolness in ice, solidity of earth? How did the world order, niyati, first arise, as also birth and death?" It's one of these not very obvious questions, isn't it? Here we have Lila travelling the astral realms, or the ethereal realms, just witnessed her husband die again. She's witnessed herself, another Lila, travelling the ethereal realms, and she's now wondered about the characteristics of things, how objects acquire their characteristics. Saraswati said, "Dear one, during the cosmic dissolution, the entire universe having disappeared, only the infinite Brahman remains in peace." This is always the starting point. And we've always got a problem. How do we get from this infinite starting point to all of this, to creation, basically? This infinite being of the nature of consciousness feels, "I am." And then, "I am an atom of light." Thus it experiences the truth of that statement within itself. It's like the word, isn't it? Let there be light. It also fancies the existence within itself of the diverse creatures, and since its nature is pure and absolute consciousness, that fanciful creation appears to be a real creation, with objects of diverse characteristics in strict accord with the fancy of the infinite consciousness. Well, it seems to me this is just saying that everything just happens to be because it happens to be. It is as it is. We could say, it's saying that it is because the infinite consciousness fancied it. Or I suppose other traditions might say God willed it. I don't think God willed anything. It just is as it is.